Hajime Takahashi, welcome back
Welcome.
to Miltown Malbay.
Thanks very much.
It's kind of like your second home in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, you're a great friend and a great musician to a lot of people in the Irish music world. But we might go back first, and you might just tell us a small bit about where you're from and where you
Yeah,
grew up and your day to day family life growing up, maybe.
yeah, okay. I was born in Tokyo, and then yeah, my parents are big into music, so there are loads of CDs and records in the house when I grew up in Tokyo, and then I it was probably in my around when I was 12, I think that was, uh, I heard the Beatles in the school. So that's how I kind of, then like I was in the that was my big musical, like, what you call, like, moment. And then I got into music then, but that was the start of it.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was your introduction.
Yeah.
And would your parents have played music?
Yeah, my father, he he grew up in 70s, so everybody in 70s in Japan, maybe probably it's here as well, but like everybody played the guitar, like acoustic guitar and sings, they were singing like folk songs back in 70s. So my dad plays the guitar and then he sings. Yeah.
Great. So you had obviously an influence from the Beatles and maybe your dad, but what was the early introduction to maybe your first music teacher?
Music teacher. Okay, yeah, I did small lesson in classical guitar initially when I was like 12, actually, when I started the guitar. But I then around that time I went to see a gig, like not too far from my house. My parents were a big fan of these musicians, like two musicians. One of them like a Junji Shirota, like my teacher. So he became my first music teacher and a guitar hero, I suppose. Like, and then yeah, I was following his stuff when I was teenager. So
And he would have played with a lot of the Irish music greats. So
yeah,
was that the big introduction into Irish music? Because I assume he
yeah,
would have played other genres as well.
yeah. He was playing other things, but yeah, but Irish music was most thing I kind of got into, and then like he was living in back in that time he was living in California, I think, in 90s and then 20s, I think, and he was playing in the band called Jody Seven. It's like Jack Gilda and then Dave Ross, I think, and the two of them are doing the band, and that was kind of my first Irish CD, I think, trad CD that I listened to. Yeah.
So then after a while, when did you decide to maybe come to Ireland?
So So when I started the guitar, Junji had been my guitar hero and guitar mentor for years, up until when I was around maybe 18. And then like the way like when you kind of grow up, then like you kind of realize that's kind of his music. And then like I was trying to be kind of play like him or try to be like him. But like, around the time that like around 18, you just start realizing that's might not be happening anyway. It's I'm not him, and then so I was thinking I was feeling a bit difficult because like I just really really wanted to do that kind of stuff what he was doing, but it wasn't, so I'm a different person, so I just wanted to discover my own kind of a way of playing music. I wanted to find my own way of exploring music. So I started thinking of like coming to Ireland when I was around 18, I suppose. Yeah.
So what age were you then when you did come to Ireland? Was it 18?
No, I actually came to Ireland when I was like just bit before that. Maybe when I was like 16 or 17. When I was in high school, I I did um, homestay in Cork. Actually, that was my first introduction. That's the first land I landed in Ireland. Uh, so that was like, so I applied for English, studying homestay, and then her teacher's name was Liz McNamara, and then she's also like Liz Kranich, but like it happened to be her. She's a wife of Matt Kranich. Yeah, so that he kind of introduced me initially to lots of stuff in Ireland. Yeah.
Great. And then a couple of years after that, then how did the Irish World Academy come onto your radar?
Oh right, yeah. So it was Matt that like who introduced me to the course actually in Limerick. He introduced me to Larry Keegan, and then yeah, I didn't know much about like a situation. He was teaching in UCC, but he kind of recommended me to go to Limerick because like it's more like a. He was saying it's more like a performance focused, and then that's kind of I wanted. So yeah,
Yeah, that was obviously the first time we met was
yeah,
on the first day
yeah, yeah.
on the first day
Yeah,
of
I
that.
still remember the day.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know like even though like I was studying English obviously beforehand, but didn't have much English, and then I just landed in New York. Didn't know what was going on. Didn't really understand the vibe is like so. And then like it's really funny like and Matt and Liz was only people I knew back then, and then like I just came to where like as completely stranger, like not knowing anybody from here, like and then like not so much English. So yeah, that was. But like I still remember the day of the first day of the UL, kind of a great feeling to be in on campus, and I was really excited.
yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, I remember those times and like that. Your English wasn't as good as it is now, obviously,
yeah,
but kind of like music was that language and that safety blanket.
yeah, yeah,
Like we got to hang out, and you got to hang out with lots of different people and lots of different
yeah.
people that play different styles and stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, that English barrier never really stopped you.
yeah, yeah. Like I didn't really, I didn't really actually care. It's kind of funny way, but like I didn't really care about even if I didn't understand the language, like you know what I mean. Like just I was kind of a the way I was kind of half understood, but like I didn't know what's going on the rest. Especially like when we are in the group, like group chat was kind of hard. Like took me maybe 2 years to get the vibe, but yeah, it was just yeah tipping away. Yes, go for the balls. Like so, yeah.
Yeah, so then, like coming over as a younger person, you've been influenced by Junji. Then the Irish World Academy, the BA in Irish
Yeah.
Music and Dance, it opened a whole world of different styles. Had you a particular goal of what music you wanted to play or what style you wanted to play, or did that develop over time?
Yeah, it definitely developed over the time. I was I was back then. I was still playing. I was playing like Junji. I think I still remember like I was more like a Junji style like when I came to Ireland, and then but yeah like just over the time I just I met like loads of great musicians here, and then start maybe understanding in my way or like of approaching music I suppose, and then some stuff I was doing maybe didn't work too well to play with some of my my friends. So I was tweaking, tried to find my way of playing, I suppose. And then yeah, obviously, like I was, you know, I actually took the banjo lesson from John Carty over those years in UL, and then as a first instrument. So for me, that was great thing doing the melody instrument as my main. And then like I knew like guitar is my main instrument, but I just wanted to understand the melody better, and then like how music language kind of works, I suppose.
In the Irish World Academy, you have to do another instrument. So
Yeah.
what was your second instrument?
So I took the fiddle actually from I think it was from first year. I think I think so. But so I got Eileen O'Brien teaching me fiddle. So that was great. Like even though like I don't play fiddle that much, but like I love the instrument, and then like all the details. So great instrument. One of my favorites. So yeah, I did the fiddle.
Yeah, and it's a great course because it covers that chance to do two instruments, but then it's mandatory for everyone to do piano
Yeah.
and then music theory and
Yeah.
dance and
Yeah.
song
Yeah.
and Irish.
Yeah, Irish was there. Yeah, I did Irish through English, which I wasn't really good at that back then. So yeah, it was difficult, but it was fun. It was fun, but I didn't know what it's like, how people play music here. What's the approach. I didn't know anything about it. I only knew the sound from the CD. I had a few church CDs back home, but that was the only information I had. But I, came over to, UL and then meeting, great musicians and also great friends. And then I start getting the vibe, start getting the understand of like how people kind of obviously different people approach in different ways, but like one thing I really surprised was like I was kind of only one who, you know, practiced until like 10 o'clock, in the music building. But, like my friends usually kind of stayed long as well, but I still like went home earlier than me. And then like I didn't know what they were doing. I didn't know what you were doing, like, you know. But then after a few months, I discovered you were in the house playing tunes or like listening to loads of music, loads of great music, and not only trash. And that was really, I was really surprised about that because, you know, going to Dim's house, your house, and listen to Ray Charles and those all kinds of music, and then I was like, oh, that's how actually that's something I like as well, the way like I thought like, a lot of people into maybe just church or but you're open to like all kinds of music, our good friend Stephen Hefner, we going to Bonnie Raitt and listen to Bonnie Raitt together, and these experience really opened my eyes actually.
Yeah, and that was the thing, that group of friends that you had, like we did an incredible amount of listening. Like it was certainly wasn't all about practicing.
Yeah. So yeah, I was like, where are they? Like what they're doing? And then but yeah, like listen to great music. That was a great point. And then I kind of stopped practicing so much, and then like I decided to hang out with you then. So that was great.
Yeah, so maybe talk to us about third year was a big year for you in UL, because the first half of it you have to do work experience
Yeah.
with where you went back to Japan.
Yeah.
You might talk to us a bit about that.
Yeah, so for the work experience, I was gonna go back to Japan, and then I was talking to you, and also Stephen Hefner, and then Jesse said, You're gonna come with me to Japan," so I was like, glad. So we arranged the work experience in Japan. So that was first time you came over to Japan, 14 years ago, and then just three of us, in Tokyo as like early 20s, and that was great experience. Oh, are you there? 20s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so that was great experience, hanging out with, and then like great thing about that is just you get to see my place as well, my hometown, home country. So and then like eat Japanese food. Yeah, so that was kind of a great introduction, I think, for you to kind of have good connection. And then obviously you've been back to Japan a few times since then.
Yeah,
So.
and there obviously there's a big distance between the two countries and the cultures, and they are worlds apart in some ways, but they're very kind of similar in other ways.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Based around your home and family and that kind of listening. That kind of listening that we were talking about happens in your house too.
yeah,
right?
yeah. So yeah, I was listening a lot in the house as well. So yeah, so and then it was great. Like three of us sitting in the couch, all day listening to records and CDs, and in my parents' house. That was great.
And then after the work experience, there was an opportunity. You could either stay in UL or you could go abroad and study abroad.
Yeah.
Again, that opened a whole world of different types of backing Irish traditional music, not just other genres. But
yeah, so yeah, I actually after Japan, I went to Sweden for a few more months to fill up my work experience. So that was really nice as well. I went to Dalarna area. Really have great traditional music there in Swedish music. So I was there as well for a few months, helping music teacher there. And then, just those experience was really great as well. And then as you said, I went to Erasmus for the second half of the third year. That was like I went to Newcastle for 5 months, I think, and then yeah, just a different kind of approach to like the guitar. I got to know more. Like I was playing that guitar before, but then like I started using chop D and standard tuning more. So that was kind of yeah, that was around the time that I start feeling kind of comfortable with my playing, kind of start you know finding my own sound, I suppose, around that time. Yeah, so that was great experience.
And then maybe talk to us about the Scotland or Newcastle and a small bit more about them.
Okay, yeah. So Newcastle is the place that like have all the crossovers, I think, musically. Have lots of like Scottish music, lots of like border music, lots of like Scandinavian music, and lots of Irish music as well. So really mixed kind of music. So and then like English folk guitar playing obviously has influenced a lot of like Irish music as well, Irish traditional music as well. So that kind of vibe really inspired me. And then Chris Newman and Ian Stevenson as guitar teacher, and then they showed me great stuff. So yeah, so I try to my own stuff then, and then yeah, so that was great. Yeah.
And how was that when you came back to Ireland? Because I remember you when you came back at that time, and like your range of ability in touching in the Scottish style or more of an English folk style or Swedish style, and then the Irish influence was still there.
Yeah.
How did that sit with you when you came back to Ireland? Were you happy with how you were playing? Was it confusing as to what?
Yeah, I was very confused, I suppose, because like I had like just this too much information maybe back then, like when I came back to UL in the start of fourth year, because like I had like Junji influence. I had like this try to kind of Irish way. Then like I had like all the information from Newcastle, Sweden. Yeah, just I was very confused. My playing was kind of all over the place, to be honest, I think. But yeah, so I was in that moment. I was like trying. There's all kinds of style in backing, music, trad music, but I was just trying everything. Just tried everything. I didn't know what to use for, but yeah, I was like. But I was definitely trying everything to find my way, I think, so my approach, I suppose. So
And in Limerick, you got access to master classes.
yeah.
So did any of those tutors help you in making those decisions, or who would you had for master classes, or who were big influences on you?
I just had a great opportunity to meet with like Steve Cooney, likes of Steve Cooney. He I also actually I interviewed him for my my FIP thesis for the fourth year, and then yeah, and then yeah. But I think for me, not so much just the guitar, but like just John Cartier around for those years really made kind of my way, I think, how I want to approach to the music. How just he showed me how he does things, and then like that took me actually a few years actually to realize all those details I didn't really get maybe on the spot, but like it kind of, kind of growed in me, you know. Took me like maybe 2 years. After 2 years, like I was like, oh, that's kind of thing that John was saying, that kind of thing. Like, so that's, and then like I think just understanding the melody, you know, is the key to just approaching the backing, I suppose, music. So that was, great influence, I suppose. Like,
So then you graduate from college.
yeah.
Had you planned on going back to Japan? Because you didn't.
Yeah.
So what happened after?
So obviously I wasn't planning anything when I started UL, but like, just doing the course in UL, and then like over the 4 years I just made those great friends, and then like made great connection. So obviously I felt like I want to stay longer. so so I decided there's a so after 4 years college, I have 1 year visa extension. So like I could stay 1 year, 1 more year, without, getting work visa or anything. So I was still doing student visa, but like I decided to stay home. And then I was playing in Scotland a lot and playing in Ireland a lot. Then I moved to Dublin after.
Maybe talk to me about the Dublin scene of music. Were you in pubs a lot, or
Yeah.
you were playing in a few bands at that stage? So
Yeah.
yeah. How did your, I know every week was different, but
Yeah.
how was life up in Dublin?
So yeah, life in Dublin was kind of really different kind of a vibe compared to Limerick. Limerick is great city, but like still small, and then but like uh, I think just maybe as a Japanese person, I kind of felt comfortable in bigger city like Dublin, because like those things, multicultural kind of thing. So and then like I was playing sessions, and then I was teaching small bit in some Kyoto's branches, and then yeah, I was playing with the Free Sisters. I was playing with you. So yeah, doing that kind of thing, and then Dublin scene was really great back in that time. Those were my friends. I just again, I only knew two people when I moved to Dublin. Alton Brian and the Paddy Commons. Them are only the people I knew. But like when I moved there, like I met other, people, and then I made great friends actually. People knew about me because like I did UL, and they knew you, so like they probably had some sort of information from them about me. Um, so so that was Dublin scene. Then like again, every time I move or like do new things, I kind of discover a new aspect of like music here. How people do things, how people talk, or different kind of talking, different kind of a way to hang out. So yeah, around that time when I was in Dublin, around 2015 to 17, those 3 years, like we just for example play session in a pub like Cobblestone or some pubs, like and then like put the instrument in there, and then like going out after session, after like going to town up until like 4 o'clock in the morning. And that was like nearly like I think just 4 nights a week or something. you know but it's great thing about that's I feel that's also they are part of like music, you know, and not just session or not just music, not just you know, notes or you know, but like much more like community kind of stuff, like much more like I don't know. I just get more as much information, you know, as I kind of hanging out with people, you know, friends, I suppose.
And would you have been into the ITMA in Merrion Square much when you were living in Dublin?
Yeah, I've been there a few times when I was in Dublin, when I was living in Dublin, and then yeah, check in, and back in that time, Danny Diamond was doing, you know, working there. So I went in some, you know, a few times, check out the computer, check out like the unknown. There's so much information, you know. So like I just type in some musicians I was kind of curious about, like Michael Gorman, or you know, some people just type in and just try to listen or find out some information about those musicians. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we might just talk about Japan because you ended up going home then.
Yeah.
And you've been kind of there since and
Yeah.
traveling over and back
Yeah.
a couple of times. But
Yeah.
what was it like going home as an accomplished Irish musician now and way more comfortable and you kind of knew the crack and knew the vibe and yeah, maybe talk to us about what the music scene is like in Japan.
So yeah, I went back at the end of 2017, and then again I didn't know many people there. Like you know, every time I move, like I just had to make new connection. So like I just didn't know many people, but which is kind of weird actually to think, because like I'm from Tokyo, but like I didn't know many people in Tokyo, because like I spent most of my 20s in Ireland. But yeah, so since went back to Japan, just again I made great connections with people. You know, there's great musicians, great you know players who play trad music, and then like it's growing. It's definitely growing. When I started Irish music, I was definitely the youngest, you know, and then like people are like, when I started going to sessions when I was high school, there were people who was doing sessions, like older people, but then they were like, oh, this, you know, high school, you know, kids start playing trad music, and they're really surprised, but it's kind of nearly getting. You know, common enough actually nowadays for the young people, especially college students in Japan. It's really blooming. Like there's so many, you know, college students start playing trad music as a circle, you know, community. Like so, and then yeah, I think it's great. You know, great to have like young Japanese, you know, people playing trad music. Yeah.
And then because obviously for years the likes of the Chieftains and Riverdance and those kind of big concert halls were extremely popular.
Yeah.
But there is an appetite over there for smaller listening and smaller workshops and
Yeah.
maybe talk to us what the concert scene is like there now. It's very different from here where there's 300 and 400 sometimes out. Like they do have that in Japan as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of the gigs over there that we would have done would have been more smaller and more frequent.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a company called Plankton. Like they has been great promoter for world music in Japan. I helped them actually for few months actually when I went back to Japan. But yeah, they're getting all the bands and then you know, doing the concert hall, which size would be maybe 1,000, maybe nearly 2,000 seats. And then but yeah, then but like I kind of thought like I kind of think there's a interest for a smaller kind of intimate, music gigs. And then yeah, so you came over a few times. I got John Carty to come over as well. And then yeah, I think those smaller and then like workshops and those things are kind of I think it's gonna I think there's a interest, and it's gonna grow anyway, I think.
Maybe just to finish up, we might talk about your experience with Miltown Malbay, because you've been coming here for 14 years.
Yeah.
A lot of people's relationship with Miltown might be through the Skull Sour or Willie Clancy.
Yeah.
But you've been coming here nearly off season mostly, and
Yeah.
this is your first time being in this building and seeing what a remote regional office like this is like.
Yeah.
So you might talk to us about
Yeah.
your relationship with Miltown.
Yeah. So yeah, I started coming to your house, and then your parents, Breed and Tony, and then hang out with brothers and sisters, and then like for coming for Christmas and stuff. and then like have Christmas dinner and stuff. Because like, the way when I was in Limerick, everybody else gonna go home for Christmas, but I was on my own in my first year. I didn't know like what to do in my first year, like for Christmas time, and then you asked me for Christmas in my second year in Ireland, so I started coming, you know, here, and then it's been great, like feeling like second home really, as you said, and then it's for me it's like it's being here really reminds me of like my home in some way. Feeling of like home is like so important, I think, and then like feel that thing feeling here makes me feel the feeling of for the home as well, my home in Japan, and then all the great friends, go around as, you know, as they are, really makes me feel like, yeah, I want to be myself as well. Then then it's good that like being myself, then you know, also I'm not, I don't have to be, I don't have to try to be anybody. I don't have to try to be somebody from Ireland. I can be myself as you know, a guy from Japan, but I'm also accepted, I suppose, as who I am, as I am. So that's really the great feeling, And then it took me actually a few years to realize that, took me maybe since I went back to Japan, found, start finding my roots as well over there. So it took me 7 years, I think. So I kind of stayed away from Ireland for 7 years up until last year. That I think I just needed that time to just feel, my home, and then in that way I can come here and then feel at home here as well, So I think I'm really happy the way that the things going, and then I'm happy the way I am happy to be living in Japan, but come back here like this, being here, also feel at home. It's great, it's the best thing,